On the paper talk this morning, we'll be talking about Andreas Pereira. He's off. Jesse Lingard fallout as well. It looks like some players are unhappy with the way Ralf Rangnick has handled that situation. And an update on Erling Haaland and Declan Rice. Let's check it out. Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the paper talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and it's pretty cold. My ears are cold. It's that kind of weather. We'll get straight into it. Got quite a few things to talk about this morning. A few stories in the papers doing the rounds. First of all, I'll start with the Raphael Honigstein story. Now, you probably saw this yesterday. Maka had it in his news, but I'll give you an update anyway. This was the news that Ralf Rangnick has recruited German journalist and broadcaster Raphael Honigstein till the end of the season. He's taken a 6-month sabbatical from The Athletic. He's a leading German journalist, a tier 1 journalist. He's taken a 6-month sabbatical from The Athletic to come and help Ralf Rangnick deal with media matters. And let's face facts, he could probably do with a little bit of help because it hasn't been a great week so far, or, well, not week because it's only the start of the week. It wasn't a great week last week for Ralf Rangnick in terms of some of the fires he was having to put out, and some could argue that, I wouldn't say it's his fault, but some would argue that it's not been handled in the right way. There's the story with Jesse Lingard, and there is another story doing the rounds this morning that Ralf Rangnick could be facing a players' revolt. Apparently, players unhappy with the way the Jesse Lingard situation has been handled, and the fact that Ralf Rangnick more or less called out Jesse Lingard. He said that Jesse Lingard, Jesse Lingard wasn't available because he wasn't in the right headspace, I think he said. Jesse Lingard then took to social media to say that he was advised by the club to take some days off. Ralf Rangnick then in his post-match press conference following the defeat to Middlesbrough said that as far as he was concerned, Jesse Lingard wasn't available. If he was available, he would have picked him. So it's caused a little bit of a, you could say a storm in a teacup, but it could be getting a little bit more serious than that when you hear rumours and stories and reports that there is a bit of a unhappiness amongst certain members of the Old Trafford team with the way this has been handled, and Ralf Rangnick could have some issues to face here. So we'll have to see how that one pans out. We'll have to see if Raphael Honigstein can help Ralf Rangnick just deal with the media, perhaps get his message across. It seems that something needs to be done with communication at Old Trafford. We've already had this with Anthony Martial. I'll get to him again in a minute. Anthony Martial, of course, I think it was Ralf Rangnick who said he wasn't available for, was it the Villa game? And then Martial said he was. So we're having these little bits of miscommunication, to put it nicely, that needs to be sorted out because it is becoming a bit of a drama, and we've got enough dramas going on the pitch at Old Trafford without dealing with ones off the pitch as well. So we'll keep you posted as to what happens with that one and whether there is any issue with certain players, and how, if he at all he can, Raphael even, Honigstein can help get that message across and help Ralf Rangnick deal with the media. I think Ralf Rangnick, when he speaks to the media, is fairly honest. He seems to have a good persona. He can be jovial, he can be honest. I don't have an issue with that. The problem we have is that there seems to be a disparity between what he's saying and what the players are saying, and so when some of them are taking to social media to put their point across and it's contradicting the manager, whichever side you're on, if you have to pick sides, it's not a good look. Another story doing the rounds this morning is Anthony Martial. I mentioned him earlier. Anthony Martial made his debut for Sevilla, and he got a bit of criticism from his new boss, Julian Lopetegui, the Sevilla boss. I probably pronounced that completely wrong. Anyway, he said, Anthony has to give us much more. It was his first game, and adaptation is not easy. He has played little this year, and he has to get into dynamics and gain minutes and confidence. Yeah, I think he was hauled off after 77 minutes. Listen, it is his first start for a while. He hasn't played a lot of football over the last 18 months, so you can sort of understand why it might take him a little while to settle, but he does need to show something there if he is going to come back to Old Trafford, even if that is even an option. If he is going to come back to Old Trafford in any sort of future United career, he has to do well at Sevilla. I don't think there's a way back for Anthony Martial. If he goes to Sevilla and doesn't do well, that he'll end up coming back to Old Trafford and playing a part of Manchester United. I just can't see that happening. So it's his first game. Don't want to look too much into it, but he's certainly not hit the ground running. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one and whether it does work out for Jesse Lingard, for Anthony Martial. In other news, Flamengo have agreed a deal, or have verbally agreed to buy Andreas Pereira, forgotten man at Old Trafford. It seems they could pay around €40 million with a few add-ons for the Manchester United midfielder. Andreas Pereira is obviously gone to Flamengo. It's been on loan with an option to buy. They're going to take the option to buy and buy him for around 40 million euros. Makes sense. I can never see him coming back to United and playing any sort of part here anyway. I think most people have sort of almost forgotten he was even still a Manchester United player. So it looks like he could be going to Flamengo on a permanent deal, which makes sense for him and for them. And I wish him well. I don't have any ill will towards Andreas Pereira. He just wasn't at the calibre that we needed. There were some moments, some decent moments, but they were few and far between. Wayne Rooney's been speaking. He's got his Amazon Prime documentary out. He said that the sale of Cristiano Ronaldo and Carlos Tevez marks a decline in the club. He's also been saying it was a bit of a miracle that we won it in 2013, and that was mainly that was mainly down to Robin van Persie. So some interesting quotes there coming out from Wayne Rooney, and none of them are completely surprising. I agree with a lot of what he's saying, to be honest. Also, some Erling Haaland news. Now, it seems as though, and these are reports from various newspapers, but you might want to look into how valid they are, that Real Madrid are going to pull out of the race for Erling Haaland because they're going to focus on Kylian Mbappe. It's going to cost, I know Kylian Mbappe is a free transfer in the summer, but it's going to cost them a lot of money in terms of wages and a signing bonus and all that sort of stuff. And they're not going to be able to get Haaland and Mbappe. So that could pave the way for Manchester United to go toe-to-toe with Manchester City for Erling Haaland's signature. So how much paving that's done, you can decide for yourself. We'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised if actually Real Madrid did go for both Mbappe and Haaland. It's not like the reverse to buying two or three or four massive names in one transfer window. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility. They went for both Mbappe and Haaland this summer. We'll have to wait and see. The other big story, or the other big transfer rumour, is the Declan Rice one. And the latest update is what we've kind of known anyway, that United are in for him this summer. He is a main target. Well, Chelsea could be in for him as well. The only sort of issue Chelsea have is that they may have to offload, according to some reports, N'Golo Kante to free up money, funds for wages or whatever for Declan Rice. Again, though, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept N'Golo Kante and brought in Declan Rice. It's one of those with Chelsea. They're another club that can go out and buy 3, 4, even 5 big-name stars and keep the stars they've already got during a transfer window. So there's lots of rumours, reports and conjecture going on at the minute. We'll just have to wait and see what happens in the summer. One thing is for certain though, and we saw evidence of it here the other night, that United, if we're going to win honours, we have to do something differently. We have to go differently in the transfer market. We can't just be bringing in players to make up the squad. We need players that can come into the first team. So I'll be interested to see how United do approach this summer transfer window, and I'm hoping that we do bring in some big names, at least one big name who can go straight into the starting 11, whether that's Declan Rice, whether that's Jude Bellingham, whether that's Erling Haaland. We need to see some action from this Manchester United board rather than incompetence. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Don't forget to hit like, share and subscribe. Let's get to 700,000 subscribers by the end of the season. Also, check out the merchandise store. The merchandise store is back up and running. We've got some fantastic new merchandise up on there, so make sure you check that out. I've been Jay Motti. This has been the Paper Talk outside a very cold Old Trafford. It's getting colder. Thanks for watching.